Now, jumping down through the rest of this section, we'll jump down to verse 15. Therefore, let your hearts be comforted, for all things shall work together for good to them that walk uprightly and to the sanctification of the church. So, are you noticing a pattern? It doesn't matter whether we're talking about the saints struggling in Independence, the saints struggling in Kirtland, or Joseph and Sydney struggling with some questions in Perrysburg, New York, or wherever you may live today, it's the same question, or it's the same invitation. Let your hearts be comforted, because all things are going to work together for your good if you trust the Lord and stick with Him.
And what I love is He doesn't chastise them, saying, how many sections have I already revealed where I've told you to fear not and to be comforted? He realizes that they need this ongoing feeding and nurturing. And He doesn't say, I already fed you that lesson a couple of years ago, and that should have been enough. He's like, I understand that right now you feel the need for comfort, a little bit of fear, so I will tell you, fear not, be comforted. And what I love about these revelations is that when we read them, they're for us. And if we need comfort, we get that ongoing assurance. And God does not reprimand us that we might feel and struggle, that we have a little bit of fear, and we need that ongoing comfort.
You know, Taylor, for me, that's the beauty of Scripture, is the timeless nature of its teachings. That while it was given at that time for those people in those circumstances, the power of Scripture is its universal applicability across space and time. You don't have to be living in the United States in the 19th century for section 98 through 101 to have power in your life. You can be living in any part of the world at any time now or moving forward in any situation and find power from these words. And it's not like the Lord is standing there just every second of every day telling you exactly what to do and giving you guidance. There are struggles, there are issues that we have to fight our way through, and wrestles that we're engaged in with the flesh and with our spiritual aspects. But I love the fact that we can keep coming back to the Scriptures and being reminded of these principles over and over and over again, and liken them to ourselves, that it can actually be for our profit and learning. Verse 13, they that have been scattered shall be gathered, and all they who have mourned shall be comforted, and all they who have given their lives for my name's sake shall be crowned. And then this famous verse 16, therefore, let your hearts be comforted concerning Zion. For all flesh is in mine hands. Be still and know that I am God. Those are the words that now come back, but they come in an improved context. He's saying, all flesh is in my hands. In other words, Joseph, Oliver, others, I hold all flesh. I could force things, but I'm going to let agency, I'm going to let law, I'm going to let freedom. People are going to act, and there are going to be consequences. And you've got to trust me. I am God. I know what I'm doing here. And look at verse 17. Zion shall not be moved out of her place, notwithstanding her children are scattered. This is interesting. This isn't the first time that Zion has had the chosen people of the Lord scattered and removed off the land and suffered great persecution and great tribulation and even bondage throughout the Old Testament and even into the New Testament and post-New Testament time periods and early Christianity history of the world. There is a repeating pattern that just because you try to be good doesn't mean that you're going to live a trouble-free life. You're going to sometimes have to be put in a position where you have to completely put your faith and your trust in God and say, I will be still and know that you're God, because I don't have an answer to how to resolve this moving forward.
Well, God teaches the principle there is opposition in all things. That is actually a difficult principle. I struggle with that one a lot. I just want it to be a nice, clear path. But he says, you cannot become like me unless you experience life. It also makes me think about how God has a plan, and he invites us to participate in the plan, but he allows us to have our full agency. And in the Pearl of Great Price, when it talks about the creation, it talks about the council of the gods giving commands for the creation, and they watch until they are obeyed. And I see it similar, that we are part of God's creation. He gives commands about what it means to build up Zion, and in many cases, he watches until he is obeyed. And when he isn't obeyed, the plan takes a little bit longer. The plan will happen. God will win, but he's also very patient to let us work things out.